Knight Rider. A shocking accident destroys K.I.T.T's memory.
Stay away from me.
Can guest star Jason Bateman help Michael save him?
K.I.T.T!
Knight Rider, Sunday.
When I saw him today, he shot past me like I was a stranger.
What else could be affected?
It's memory modules, information banks.
Losing one's memory is so embarrassing.
You see, there's this guy looking for you named Michael. He says you're his.
What does he look like?
K.I.T.T!
We're coming to the edge!
Turbo boost. Press. Move, or I refuse to be responsible.
Battle of the Network shows. Join Rick Brooks and Mike Kogel as they explore the TV of the 70s and 80s through hand-picked episodes of their favorite and not-so-favorite series. Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of Battle of the Network shows. I'm here with my co-host Mike.
Not Michael Knight.
Not Michael Knight. No relation, yes.
No.
And today we are going to do another listener request, and the show that we are going to talk about today is Knight Rider. Yeah. And let me give a shout out to my, he happens to be my cousin, but I'd like to think that he would be a faithful listener of the show anyway. My cousin and friend Kevin, who's been a devoted listener since we started the podcast. Yes. And he had suggested Knight Rider actually a while back, and we are just now fitting it into our crowded production schedule, but we're glad to do it. Yet another NBC show. We've done a lot of those, and I would say, you can tell me if you agree with this, Mike, but I think it's another show, we seem to say this a lot, but it's disproportionately looms larger in the consciousness than the ratings would indicate.
Yeah.
You look back and it was not a high-rated show at all. It only aired 4 seasons on NBC.
It crossed over into NBC getting popular, right? Like
Yes.
maybe like the last year.
Well, actually, I believe there was one year that it was like even in the top 30. I think it was it reached as high as number 25. And that was when it was like a Sunday night show. And then I think they moved it to Friday for the last season, and it was not, it was like in the 50s or something.
Yeah.
So it was never a top 10 show or anything like that. It just wasn't a huge hit, but yet it's hard to talk to people that watch TV at all in the 80s that don't remember at least Knight Rider being on.
Yeah.
I don't know if you have like a lot of diehard Knight Rider fanatics, but
It seems to me that people do, like guys basically, but
yeah.
I'm sure there are women too. But there are people that it it's a beloved show of their childhood. And even like in the Guardians of the Galaxy 2, that was a big, I guess both Guardians movies, now that I'm thinking about it, is an element to that. But on the other hand, that's because the Peter Quill character basically got abducted by aliens in 1985 or something. So, when he was a kid. So it was like the last TV show.
Right.
Like that makes sense.
Right.
That was a thing that mattered to him before his new life started, and and other things happened.
Well, it's funny you mention that, because that's another thing that I didn't realize. It was essentially a Sunday night show. Like, it would be on after Silver Spoons and Punky Brewster.
Yeah, for some reason I thought of Friday, but
yeah, Friday was what I would have guessed too. But it was only Friday, I think, for 1 year. But it was mostly an NBC show, 8 o'clock. So kind of designed to be like a family show, and geared maybe a little bit more towards kids.
Right. Often delayed by football, I'm guessing.
Yeah, probably.
Or back then they didn't. They just started in the middle of the show, didn't they? Would they delay things, or would they?
I don't remember there being that much of an issue. Like, I think that time, they would just preempt Punky Brewster, Silver Spoons,
right.
If football ran long.
Yeah. But like now they'll just push everything back, right?
Yeah. They'll start everything,
That's,
Back then, you're right.
Not being a huge football fan, it would drive me crazy.
Yeah.
The football game would delay the show I wanted to watch.
Yeah, to me that didn't really become an issue until it started affecting The Simpsons. And King of the Hill and those kind of shows. So back in the 80s, I don't really remember it being an issue to me. And Yeah, so it's Knight Rider, and Knight Rider has never really gone away, is the other thing. There was an ill-fated revival of this about, 10 years ago?
Something like that, yeah.
And there's talk even right now, I see that David Hasselhoff is trying to revive it again.
Like a movie? Or,
yes, there's been talks of feature film adaptations over the years.
There was also Knight Rider 2000.
Yes.
Which was there were like two 90s things, or maybe that was it. There was one that had like a team of cars.
I mean, it's fair to say that this is a franchise somehow. Somehow this persists, and yeah, people seem to have good memories of it, and whether it be you have ironic memories of it because it has David Hasselhoff, or you actually loved it.
Yeah.
Me personally, I think we've talked about this, I was never a car kid growing up.
Yeah.
So the shows about cars didn't appeal to me as much.
And
as it did maybe other kids.
I would say Knight Rider is probably the first. There were like a string of shows with super vehicles. Mm-hmm. There's the Knight Rider and the Street Hawk, which is a motorcycle.
Like Stingray.
Oh, yeah. And Automan.
Automan.
The guy was a car.
Yeah.
And
right.
And along the same lines, but not with a vehicle, but like Manimal.
Yeah.
And there's like that cartoon Mask, which was all about like everyone had a cool vehicle and
true. And you had Transformers at the time, the cartoon, and
and they all had the same. Basically, the vehicle, I guess, replaced the superhero. Kind of like the Hulk. You're waiting for him to turn into the Hulk if you're a kid.
Yeah.
And the vehicle shows you're waiting for the vehicle to do something cool.
That's a good point.
And Knight Rider has an advantage where the vehicle is a character.
Yeah.
Michael Knight spends a lot of time riding around in K.I.T.T and talking to him.
Yeah, he's got somebody to interact with instead of just, whistling to himself or something.
Street Hawk, the dude, you're just waiting for him to get on his motorcycle and do something cool.
And I guess you could consider like the Dukes of Hazzard. I would consider that a car show. Like I watched that not really because I wanted to see car chases per se, but those car chase scenes were a big part of, I guess, something like Riptide maybe.
A little bit
similar, and it had the helicopter shows.
Yeah, and even the A-Team had
had
patterns and things, and Hardcastle McCormick a little bit.
Yeah,
I mean, it had a cool car, but I think that was secondary.
Yeah. So Knight Rider was the car was K.I.T.T talking like a Trans Am.
Trans Am, yeah.
Black Trans Am, very very cool looking.
Yeah, not as cool as looking as Smokey's Trans Am.
No.
It was like the redesigned, sleek Trans Am.
Yes.
Although it's still a T-top, as the characters in this episode mentioned multiple times.
Yeah, and the episode we're going to talk about comes from the show's third season. It's called Lost Night.
Yeah.
Get it?
Right.
K-N-I-G-H-T. Night. Lost Night.
And a lot of Knight Rider titles involve a night pun of some kind.
And there are plenty of them.
Yeah.
That's the thing. Even the Knight Rider, it's not exactly a noirish show, but David Hasselhoff plays Michael Knight.
Yes.
So, he's the Knight Rider. And, this episode was December 9th, 1984 was its debut.
Right.
As I said, so about halfway through the third season.
And this, of course, created by Glenn Larson, who we mentioned a little bit in our Magnum PI episode, but this is his baby.
Yeah. Producer with a bit of a checkered past, but a prolific one.
Yeah.
And all over late 70s and 1980s TV.
And I believe he was responsible for a number of those shows we mentioned a minute ago.
Yeah.
He might have single-handedly been driving that trend.
And he probably reused Knight Rider scripts for some of those shows, if he could get away with it, I'll bet.
Pretty good chance of that.
Yeah.
He did co-write the theme music.
Well, that's good because
he often did.
It's a distinctive theme song.
Yeah.
It sounds very 1980s.
Yep.
Got a lot of energy to it.
Synthesizer. Yeah.
Definitely. Yeah, so Michael Knight, the premise is he's using the resources through the auspices of the Knight Foundation.
Yes, the Foundation for Law and Government.
Yes. What a great name for a foundation that is, huh?
A subsidiary, spun off from Knight Industries.
Yes, yes. So there's a wealthy industrialist, I guess, and philanthropist that is concerned with bringing justice, righting wrongs, fighting for the little guy.
Yeah.
And Michael Knight was a police detective that was, left for dead, essentially, and transformed through reconstructive surgery into a totally different person physically.
David Hasselhoff.
Yeah.
Who
Pretty good deal.
you learn at some point is the spitting image of this night guy's son.
Yeah.
Garth or Gareth, I can't remember. I watched part of that episode. The main difference is that guy has a mustache.
Yeah, there's an evil twin episode.
Yeah.
We decided not to cover the evil twin episode.
Right. Their evil twin. There's his evil twin, but there's also Kit having an evil twin.
Yes.
Car.
Right. The K. If you see one episode of Knight Rider, you might want to check out the evil twin episode. But But we decided, a lot of other people have talked about that. It's one of the more infamous episodes, so we wanted to go with something a little different.
Yeah.
And we wound up picking something that did not have Gareth at night. It did not have David Hasselhoff in a rare dual role. It did not have Kit in a rare dual role, or William Daniels, who voiced Kit.
Yeah.
But it did have another one of our favorites.
Jason Bateman.
Yes, Jason Bateman, who we did not get to talk about in the Silver Spoons episode. Well, I guess we talked about him.
We talked about him a lot.
Yeah. We talked about him more than some of the actual regulars on that show.
Yeah.
But in this one, he actually appears.
Right.
So he's the special guest star.
Yeah.
And
character actor Anthony James, is that right? Is that his name? Or James Anthony?
Anthony, that plays one of the two bandit.
I believe he plays Bob.
Yes, Bob and I can't remember the other one. Conrad is the guy that hires them.
Conrad, yeah. Justin, I think it was.
Yes.
I'm going to look it up.
We'll figure it out.
But he's that Bob guy.
The guy that was in like Unforgiven and
like a lot of Clint Eastwood things and a lot of TV shows playing kind of usually heavies.
Shady individuals.
Yeah.
Yes, and he is in this part too. He and his partner. Steele.
Julius.
Okay.
Yes, and he's Bobby.
So, but getting back to the show's general premise. So Michael Knight is he's fighting for the little guy. He's fighting for justice, and he's presumed dead. And this gives him a new identity and a new chance to sort of, at the behest of, I guess the Foundation, he's given assignments and missions, usually trying to sort of outside the law, really. But he's got this super-powered car at his disposal, who happens to be a talking car.
Right. Talking, thinking.
Yeah.
Mildly witty.
Yes. And
skeptical.
Voiced by William Daniels, who was on St. Elsewhere. And Boy Meets World for a later generation.
Right.
But an incredibly
1776 for an earlier generation.
Yeah. Yes. A very distinctive, mannered voice.
Yeah.
That, let's face it, is hilarious coming from the car. It's perfect casting, I think.
Represented by the same shot of some red lights going up and down.
Yeah. That's how you know a car started.
Yeah.
So.
Right. And the car has lots of features. The turbo boost, which makes it leap into the air.
Yeah.
Do a jump without needing a ramp.
Right.
Pursuit mode, which makes it go really fast.
Yeah. It has it's a little sturdier than your average Trans Am.
Yeah, some sort of special shell.
Although it's not indestructible, but but it's strong. It's
right. Has a glowing red light on the front.
Yeah.
It's important. A little bit like a Cylon eye.
That's right, yeah.
Maybe as a Glenn Larson callback to Battlestar Galactica.
Yeah, that's right, to one of his earlier series.
Makes a noise.
Battlestar.
Humming noise. Seems to maybe not run on gas. It's hard to tell.
Yeah,
because it sounds kind of electric when it's running.
That's a good point. I didn't really notice that. I don't
but then sometimes it makes, like the turbo boost, and there's more like a normal revving sound, so I don't...
Yeah, there's some definite strong revving.
Yeah. Ejection seats.
Yeah. It's a good feature.
A whole bunch of buttons.
Yeah.
Anyway, and radar and all sorts of things at a TV. They can, the Foundation can call Michael on the TV. And
let him know.
Yeah.
It's kind of like Batman's utility belt.
Right.
If the story needs the car to do something, you can guarantee that there's something on that dashboard that will accomplish that.
Yeah.
So in the history of TV talking cars, you got Ann Southern and My Mother the Car. You've got probably some Hanna-Barbera cartoons of the 70s.
Definitely, yeah.
And then you get...
and you got Speed Buggy.
Speed Buggy, yeah.
Did he talk? I mean, he was alive, but
I think he just snorted, didn't he? And
Yeah.
and beep.
That's right. Yeah. He was more like a dog.
You've got and Kit.
Yeah, K.I.T.T.
Is maybe the best of all of them.
Right.
So I didn't really watch this show growing up. Like I said, I saw it occasionally, but
Yeah.
not a whole lot.
I'm thinking maybe I watched it like the first couple seasons and then got bored.
Yeah.
Was a teenager by then. I didn't
Yeah.
talk in cars.
You're
It's
unhappy
dumb.
with the character development in Knight Rider.
Yeah.
It also had Edward Mulhare, veteran actor,
Yes. And
who is the
he's the second-rate Rex Harrison, isn't he referred to
Yes.
that as something like that?
Yeah, he was in the Ghost and Mrs. Muir, the TV series,
Right.
which of course the movie actually had Rex Harrison, and the
Yeah.
TV version you got Edward Mulhare.
Right. Yeah.
But he's has a classy, British air about him.
Yeah.
And he's the one, essentially the voice of the Foundation and guiding everything. And the pilot episode, Richard Basehart was Wilton Knight,
Okay.
the rich guy who
Right.
created all of this. But let's just say he doesn't make it past the first episode, the pilot episode. So exit Richard Basehart, and then Edward Mulhare's character was there from the beginning, but he's the authority
Yeah.
of the Foundation throughout this whole series.
Right. And then Patricia McPherson is Bonnie Barstow, who's like the engineer.
Yeah, she's in charge of maintaining Kit, and I really didn't remember very little about her character.
I just remembered she was there, and then I kind of read that the second season she wasn't there. Like they replaced her, and there was a fan outcry, and they brought her back.
Yeah, that's interesting. I didn't remember that at all.
I don't know what fans, teenage or preteen boys were writing in.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know.
And
I just
she
wonder who
seems-
that was.
Not to... I haven't been watching this show very much over the last couple decades, but
Yeah.
it seems to me her character is relatively minor in the grand scheme of things. So
Yeah.
she must have made quite an impression on somebody to create a fan outcry, but I
Yeah.
just didn't see...
I believe also Hasselhoff and Mohair were behind bringing her back. Like,
Okay, well, that's
so they liked her, I guess.
interesting. I
Yeah, in this episode, she does play a role.
she
Kind of
does.
important what she does, but
I mean, an engineer for that piece of such a sophisticated piece
Yeah.
of equipment, it's a vital thing. But
right. I guess sometimes she was maybe a potential romantic interest too.
yeah, and I think she was also somebody that David Hasselhoff could butt heads with.
Yeah.
Sort of another, like her being the voice of reason, him being a little bit more impetuous at times.
Right. Yeah.
But yeah, I'm going to have to investigate the whole deal with. I wonder how they handled that. I mean, the replacement actress must have felt terrible. She comes back for season 2 and gets booted for season 3.
Yeah, that kind of stinks for her.
Yeah,
What about her?
yeah.
Hopefully she got another job. Maybe she got the job of that same character on Airwolf.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm-
Which is another, we left that out of the litany of vehicle shows.
Yes, Airwolf and Blue Thunder,
Yeah,
the
Blue Thunder.
helicopter
Yeah.
shows. Maybe they had maybe they had the engineer. Maybe I wonder if they even bothered to explain it, or if they just said that she had reconstructive facial surgery, but it didn't take.
Right.
So at the beginning of the third season, it's like,
take.
oh, hey, you look like you used to about a year or so ago. That reconstructive surgery didn't take.
Right. I went on vacation somewhere hot and it just
Yeah.
melted away.
So that's the basic idea of Knight Rider, I think.
Yeah.
It's a guy, it's adventure series with plenty of car chases and some frequent interplay between David Hasselhoff and William Daniels. And it's a youngish David Hasselhoff.
Yeah. Pre-Baywatch, obviously.
Yeah. This is his first one.
I don't know what,
He was a soap actor.
I don't know the ins and outs of his music career. I don't know if he was doing music then and it took off in Germany. Later,
Should we go ahead and say hi to all the new listeners from Germany
Yes.
that we've gained in this episode?
Right, I hope so. I mean, I've mentioned before, we have some German Instagram followers. I don't know if they listen to the show or not.
Well, they will now.
But hopefully this will up the ante on our German listeners.
Would you care to give a brief hello to them in German?
Hallo,
Oh, great.
wie geht's?
Yeah, excellent.
Gesundheit.
Welcome.
I actually did take German in high school, so
Yeah.
I'm using some of my skills.
Yes. It's interesting when you...
Ich heiße Mike.
I beg your pardon?
My name is Mike.
Oh.
I am Mike.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Isn't it interesting that when you abandoned Knight Rider, you embraced German? That's a little ironic about the time that...
Yeah.
In theory, those two flavors should go together like chocolate and peanut butter.
You would think so. His music career must have been already going on, because, I mean... Was it Berlin Wall fell in 89?
It was 89, yes. That was 2 years
but
after.
he had to have built up some love from the Germans.
To be invited for that.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's
So he could
true.
stand on the wall or whatever he did.
Yeah. Wasn't he the one that actually took the sledgehammer that broke it, that tore it down? Or
Yeah,
no?
David Hasselhoff.
Yeah.
See, Ronald Reagan might have said tear down this wall,
Yeah.
but David Hasselhoff actually
Tear down
tore
this
it down.
wall and let David Hasselhoff do it. Anytime, Mr. President. Glad to be of service. That's the untold story of the Berlin Wall.
I think so. There should be a documentary.
How Ronald Reagan worked with David Hasselhoff to bring down 25 years of Cold War tension.
Yes.
Well, more than that, I guess, but
Right.
yeah. Decades of Cold War tension.
I feel like that would give David Hasselhoff his, fifth, sixth comeback?
Yeah, he's due for one.
Yeah.
If this Knight Rider revival doesn't work out,
Right.
David, we got another project for you. I would watch that.
Yeah.
It could be like a reenactment kind of movie.
I feel like there should be a documentary and a docudrama.
Yeah, a docudrama and a companion documentary with the real story,
Yeah.
which would be essentially the same,
Right.
but with just archival footage.
Yeah.
And then the docudrama, which should actually star David Hasselhoff as himself.
Right. All right. We're going to get in contact with the Hoff. And,
Yeah, let's
hopefully
make that-
get that working out.
Let's make that happen.
Yeah, and so he had done soap operas and things before this,
Yeah.
right? That was his main.
Yeah, I think. I want to say General Hospital,
Yeah.
but it could have been any of them.
Yeah, right.
Who am I kidding? I don't know.
But you want to say General Hospital.
I do. I want to say General Hospital.
Yeah.
Just often I find myself wanting to say that.
Right.
I just blurt it out in casual conversation.
Sure, yeah.
But he was known from soaps, and this was, I guess, his first prime time
Yeah.
starring role.
And,
And
he's a charismatic dude.
he is. I mean, he's sort of a caricature now,
Right.
despite his service to the country and tearing down the wall and everything. But he's fun to watch. Watching a couple of episodes for this and this episode himself, it's a fun performance. I mean, he's good.
He's got I don't know if it's hard to convey just in audio because he's there's a physicality to what he's just cool. He's like, hey, how you doing? He's always moving a little bit.
He's confident. He carries himself like a star.
Yeah.
And he still continues to do that. And
Right.
it's maybe he's a bit of a punchline in some circles.
Yeah.
Norm Macdonald.
Yes.
But I mean, you can see he's got that charisma, and you can see why somebody would build a show around the guy.
Yeah.
He's entertaining.
Yep.
Now, I don't know if he's entertaining enough to make me sit down and see the whole run of Knight Rider.
Right.
Which, before we get into this specific episode, it's been floating around various streaming services. I'm going to watch this on NBC's official site, which they have, I think, pretty much the entire series.
Seems like it.
Which is good. But It was on Netflix for years. It's been floating around. It's been issued on DVD several times. So the show is out there. It's been in reruns off and on. Like I said, it's never gone away. It's remained in the public consciousness. And it's not really a hard show to find.
No.
So, shall we get into Season 3, Lost Night?
Let's do that.
Which begins with a knockoff version of Caribbean Queen
Yes.
playing. Michael Knight is cruising down the road on his way to Fun in the Sun.
That was... So it started, the instrumental part, and I'm like, yeah, that's kind of familiar. What is this? This is cool. I was digging it, and then the guy started singing, and I recognized the lyrics. It took me a second to put together exactly what song it was, but definitely not Billy Ocean.
It was definitely not Billy Ocean, no.
Possibly David Hasselhoff.
Oh.
I don't know.
Consider that.
And I wonder if, if this is a music replacement, like the original had the actual Caribbean Queen, or...
It's good. Yeah,
I feel like it seems if you're going to do a music replacement, you would just do something generic.
Yeah.
And There was some when I didn't finish, but watching the Evil Twin episode, I remember there being a very similar thing happened, and I don't remember what song it was now.
There was something else in the pilot episode that I watched recently
Yeah.
too. There was another music replacement. I can't remember the song, but it was
Right.
same song, different artist. So maybe that was just a thing.
Yeah.
Miami Vice.
They could afford the performance, or not? They could the publishing rights and whatever the rights to perform it, but they couldn't afford the actual performance.
Well, we know that Billy Ocean was no stranger to soundtracks in the 80s, so
Right,
I
yeah.
highly doubt that Billy Ocean was a holdup there.
Right. He may be. I imagine he was maybe on tour and kicking back
Yeah,
and watching Knight Rider, and that came on, and he was disappointed.
yeah, he was.
I would have done that.
Yeah, he would have loved to have been a part of that.
Right.
But just somebody made a call for him, and he was too busy. So,
Yeah.
well, maybe he turns up in a season 4 episode or something. But
Right.
that's another reason to revisit the show.
Yeah.
The quest for Billy Ocean, real Billy Ocean.
Maybe if they reboot Knight Rider again, that could be Knight Rider: The Quest for Billy Ocean.
Yeah,
Sort of a Apocalypse Now,
Yeah.
Heart of Darkness kind of thing, where Michael Knight has to go into the depths of America to find Billy Ocean,
Yeah,
who's
the depths of
lost his mind.
Central America, or, the Caribbean. Or,
The Caribbean, yeah. I mean, that would make more sense. It's just you got to get the car there. I realize there are ways to get a car. Maybe K.I.T.T could have, amphibious features.
Yeah, like little flippers in the side or something like that.
Yeah, like James Bond's car.
Yeah, like a little bubble, so cockpit thing, so
Right.
it could go under the water
Yeah,
to evade pursuers.
right, and drive all the way to the Caribbean.
Yeah, why not?
Right.
Well, we don't get any aquatic action in this episode.
No.
Even though Michael Knight is on his way to the beach.
He is on his way to the beach. Yeah. And he wears his. I guess he's wearing his beach clothes for most of the episode, isn't he? Kind of.
Yeah, I guess so.
He's got a shirt, a really 80s shirt that. I mean, it's not exactly a t-shirt. It has a t-shirt kind of collar,
Yeah.
but I don't know. The material seems different, and then the left part of the collar actually has like 2 buttons, so that button the collar together,
Wow.
which is definitely
An
like an
interesting-
80s kind of
Yeah.
something an 80s musician might wear at least.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
Yeah,
His normal outfit was, like a black leather jacket and maybe like
like a red shirt.
like a ringer red T-shirt underneath or something
Yeah.
like that. But this episode he steps away from that a little bit.
Yeah, he does finally late into it put on the leather jacket.
Yeah.
It takes a while.
Well, things happen.
He didn't have it with him.
It's a little out of sorts in this.
Yeah.
The whole thing. It's not necessarily a conventional episode because some things happen. So Michael's on his way for some R&R time.
Yeah.
And this is just one of the things I remember is early on he says he feels guilty because everybody else is at this building demolition.
Right, yeah.
That the foundation is involved in, and so Kit asks him, "Well, if you're so guilty, why don't you attend the demolition?" He says, "Guilty, not crazy," and he gives this goofy like 80s smile. Like the whole delivery of it is it's kind of cheesy.
Yeah.
But it's entertaining, and it gives you a glimpse of the sort of devil may care aspect of his
Yeah.
character. I mean,
Kit obviously doesn't care either way. He's a car.
yeah,
He's a machine, but I don't know what's he going to do at the beach?
that's a good question. I don't know.
Why did they even let him take Kit on vacation with him?
Yeah, I know.
Seems like a good time to maybe leave him at home and have some maintenance done. or
Tune-ups
something.
and
yeah,
Well,
their mistake.
it was their mistake, but things go wrong pretty quickly at the demolition. Well, the demolition goes pretty well actually, and it's pretty cool.
Yeah, I think we can assume one of those instances of they found out a building was getting demolished and worked it into the show.
Yeah, it's a well organized demolition that goes off well, except
Yes.
a couple of criminals used the occasion to steal a lot of nitroplastique,
Right.
and enough to level a whole city apparently.
Yeah, and the foundation is there. I guess they're the watchdog for nitroplastique or something.
Yeah, it was kind of
I don't know.
kind
They
of
seemed
bizarre.
very proud to be there, and
Yeah.
Maybe they contributed the nitroplastic. Maybe Knight Industries invented nitroplastic. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, these guys, Bobby and Julius, during the demolition, go and steal the rest of the backup explosives.
Some cheap masks, and they make off with
And
it.
very wisely, they go in a truck with the slogan of, I'm assuming Bobby's actual business, Bob's Plumbing.
Yeah. Yeah.
And yet that truck is hard to find.
Right.
But they do ditch it eventually, but then maybe is clue number one that these guys are not
they're
master criminals.
They're flunkies, yeah.
Yeah.
They're working for somebody
Are
else.
they working for him, or do they hire? I felt like they hired him.
Or they connected with him.
They get him to...
Yeah, I guess
Because they have a different target. The explosives are just to create a distraction, essentially. We find out later. They want someone to use the explosives to, just to create a distraction by blowing up a dam.
Yeah, no biggie.
No biggie.
Just a little diversion.
And that'll, while all the authorities are tied up, they can go a little bit like the hijackers in the Hulk episode we talked about. Steal some artifacts. These are pre-Columbian artifacts in this case, but
yeah, it's an interesting point. It seems like a kind of an elaborate way to go about stealing those artifacts.
Yes,
because you have to commit 2 big crimes instead of just one.
Yeah,
it seems like the nitroplastic in itself would be of some value, but yeah, I guess it's just a means to an end.
Yeah,
but
seems like they could just sell that to someone.
Yeah, but for the Knight Foundation, that's everything.
Yes.
So we get a car chase pretty early on in this episode.
We do. It's an important car chase.
Yeah.
Or it ends importantly.
So the Knight Rider, Michael Knight and K.I.T., get involved in this car chase with these Julius and Bobby, and Julius and Bobby get away, and our heroes, they get away barely. They get away, but they don't get away unscathed.
No.
Michael Knight is banged up. Mm-hmm. And we're told he's found half unconscious, on the side of the road. But more importantly, K.I.T. is banged up.
Yeah.
He's shaken up badly
They get electrocuted.
Yeah.
Chasing Bobby and Julius, and whose plumbing truck is rigged with nitrous to go faster. But Bobby's like throwing away half of this nitroplastic, like it's Green Goblin pumpkin heads or something.
Yeah. Just like little controlled things you can use to throw at somebody.
Yeah, and that causes like a transformer to blow or something. And and K.I.T. gets electrocuted, and I assume that kind of is what, like, Michael gets some of the residual electrocution. And that is not good for K.I.T.
No, he gets amnesia.
Yes.
Yes, K.I.T. the car has amnesia.
In case the show with the talking car didn't have enough TV contrivance.
Yeah.
Give him amnesia.
Now,
it's like doing like a factory reset on your your phone or something.
I mean, he can still talk.
Yes,
but he doesn't recognize all of his abilities. He doesn't know who he is, or
he
doesn't recognize Michael.
Yeah,
which is very hurtful to Michael.
It is.
This is getting ahead, but my favorite line in the whole show is when he's back, at home base, and he's kind of explaining what happened. And he talks about how there's something wrong with K.I.T. And he says, when I saw him today, he shot past me like I was a stranger. He's very distraught.
Yeah.
He's got quite an affinity with this car of his now. So
my favorite line might have been, or series of lines, was him wandering the wilderness, yelling "K.I.T." at the top of his lungs.
Yeah, K.I.T. It's Michael. Yeah, he makes an effort to find him.
He does, yeah.
Yeah, because Michael, he checks himself out of the hospital. He's not hanging around there, even though against doctor's orders.
Yes. He's
probably at least got a concussion, like you said, electrocution.
Yeah.
Who knows what's going on with him, but he's got things to do.
Yeah. And his goal is, he just wants to find K.I.T.
Yeah.
Devin.
Yeah, Devin the Edward Murray.
He's under normal circumstances, he's right on the same page, but with that nitroplastic in it out there, that's what Michael has to focus on.
This is my big problem with the episode. To me, it seems like Michael would be more effective with Kit at finding the nitroplasty.
Yes.
Michael even says, why don't you let the cops do that? Let me
Right.
find Kit.
Yeah.
Which makes sense to me.
It does.
I don't understand why the authorities can't be involved in this.
Right.
But the foundation, maybe they...
It's the foundation for government and law.
Yeah.
Or law and government.
Yeah.
They're not, they're not clandestine.
Yeah, they're not. It's no secret.
I mean, despite the voiceover at the beginning of talking about this being the shadowy world of something.
Yeah, there's very little shadowy about the world of Knight Rider that I can tell.
No.
He-
Most of it takes place in the day.
Yeah, he's driving through, highways.
Yeah. Every episode, whoever he meets ends up learning about Kid.
Yeah. Yeah, it's not like they keep him in a garage with a blanket over him the whole time.
No.
They're pretty open about it. But when he's out there, that's an asset that somebody else could. I don't know. They have some kind of automatic shutdown. You'd think they would have that, but apparently they don't.
Well, yeah, his tracker went off. I think that's part of it too. Some of the stuff got fried that they normally would be able to just find out where he is, and maybe there's an automatic shutdown, like you said, in case he gets kidnapped or something.
Yeah.
Kidnapped.
Yes. So okay.
Auto door locks in case Michael loses his keys.
Yeah. Yeah, you don't want
usual.
somebody finding the keys and making a copy of it.
And he just needs. Well, I mean, if he just loses them, he needs to get in. They can remote unlock the doors
Right.
from the foundation.
So I totally disagreed with the idea of abandoning Kit even temporarily,
Yeah.
so that he can pursue the nitroplastique. That didn't make sense to me at all.
No.
I agree with Michael Knight, not just because it's David Hasselhoff, but he was in the right in this one, Mike.
Yeah.
He should have. He was correct to have as his priority finding the car.
Right.
There's really no debate on that. I'm glad
No,
we both see it the same way.
I-
That was my big problem with the episode.
Yeah.
Everything else made perfect sense to me.
Well, I disagree with you. Sorry, Devin Miles stopped by just to
Yes. Oh,
register his displeasure with your
yes.
opinion.
Well, I'm sorry. I know your thinking is in the right place. He's got the interest of the foundation at heart somehow. At least he thinks he does. But he
And the
was misguided.
citizenry. And the citizenry, because we don't know what they're going to do. I mean, we know, because we already told you they're going to blow up a dam. But
That's a very dangerous situation, which is precisely why the authorities should be involved and not just David Hasselhoff
yeah,
on foot or in
Right.
some inferior
a Jeep.
backup vehicle, yes, trying to track down Kit,
Yeah.
the supercar. So, all right, well, I got that off my chest.
All right.
So,
Complications arise beyond just Kit, though.
yes, because just wandering around himself out in this whole scenario was our friend Jason Bateman,
Yes.
a.k.a. Doug.
Doug.
Yeah, so Doug, who, and I'm glad they explained this, because I was curious about his WW cap. He's wearing a WW cap. Wainwright Warriors.
Oh, good.
He plays baseball. He's a shortstop,
Yeah.
which is good to know. It's an important character detail.
It is. It seemed he and Michael bonded over that a little bit, I think.
Yeah. Well, yes. Michael says he used to play first base.
Yeah. That's
And,
right.
Doug says that must have been a long time ago. Yeah, there were dinosaurs on the field then.
Yeah.
They had a little interplay.
A little exchange, yeah.
This isn't quite the Jason Bateman we know and love from Silver Spoons and
No.
seemingly many other sardonic appearances, but
Yeah.
he's got a little bit of an edge to him.
A little bit. He's not smarmy.
He's not smarmy, but he's a troubled kid.
Yeah.
He's not one much on, for example, school. He doesn't go to school very often.
Right. Yeah.
He's got issues at home.
Right. His dad died.
Yes.
There's a step boyfriend.
Yeah, who's very contentious.
Yeah. Works at his mom runs a nursery, and this guy works there. And at the very least, he's very suspicious of Michael.
Now, I would say this. So, Jason Bateman, or excuse me, Doug, is kind of a witness to some of this because he saw
Yes.
the two guys. He saw Bobby and Julius.
Right.
And Michael Knight wants to, he wants to get clues on the guys, and he thinks that the kid saw something.
Yeah.
He's right.
Right.
So that's why he's talking to him, and then he's showing up at his house, and it is kind of it's a little weird.
So especially when he waits in his neighborhood and follows him.
Yeah.
Nobody called that in.
And he doesn't have
Say,
a...
a guy with a lot of hair
Yeah.
is sitting in a Jeep in someone else's driveway.
And he doesn't really have a great reason to be there.
No.
He doesn't even really try. I mean, it's not like he pretends to be a teacher or something, or or a truant officer.
No, he tells them what he's there.
Yeah. But he doesn't have a badge or anything.
Yeah.
So.
Right.
I would be a little suspicious too, but.
You know what he does have?
What's that?
Charm. Swagger.
He does. He's got both those things, and he uses them because you can tell Doug's mom is a little.
And I think that's the boyfriend. He's not a very appealing character, but I could see why he would be concerned.
He has reason to be suspicious.
David Hasselhoff shows up and starts charming your girlfriend.
Yeah, I would put the kibosh on that real quick.
But he doesn't handle it well.
He doesn't.
He doesn't handle it poor. I mean, he doesn't become like a real foil or anything.
No.
Like, he could have really gummed up the works, but he's just sort of annoying.
He's a nuisance, yeah.
Yeah.
And actually, Michael, he kind of brushes him off, really. He doesn't really show much deference to him. He just kind of, like, ignores him, to an extent.
Yeah.
But the guy tells him, he says, I've got my eye on you. He actually kind of does the finger to the eye gesture, right? And, like, He does that, like, years before Robert De Niro made that famous.
Right.
This guy was way ahead of that, but he doesn't get along with Doug, and he doesn't seem to have a lot going for him with Doug's mom. No. Doug's mom, you know who she kind of reminded me of?
I'm interested, because she reminded me of someone, which was a weird.
She kind of reminded me of Mary from or Mary Wells.
Yes.
John Wells, I'm sorry.
Yeah, exactly.
Mary Ann from Gilligan's Island.
I had to look it up.
Yeah, for a minute I was like, that kind of looks like her. I didn't recognize the actress from anything else, so that she was in a lot of stuff, but I think she was on soap operas as well.
Yeah.
So, about this time, she's about in her late 30s, I believe she was.
Yeah.
So, an attractive woman, and David Hasselhoff, an attractive man, so there could have been a connection there, but but Michael's all business.
Yeah. Now, we kind of skipped over when Doug kind of witnesses the Bobby and Julia's talking about things. They chase him, and he ends up finding Kit, who's just wandering aimlessly through the wilderness.
Yes, the car is wandering aimlessly. That's true.
Actually, there was an impressive little stunt there that Jason Bateman did, where like Kit's, driving behind him at an not that fast, but enough where he's running from Kit. And however they, were remote controlling or however they did that, because it's very clear there's no one driving it.
Right.
It seems potentially dangerous to have like a 12-year-old kid doing.
It does.
But he handled it well. And it was clearly him.
Yeah, came out okay.
Yeah. And then, he and Kit bond.
They do. They become rather chummy.
Yeah, they do. He does at one point get in Kit and is like, trying to figure out what all the buttons does.
Yeah.
And he hits the right, luckily the right eject button. And this, the passenger seat goes flying out into the air.
Yeah.
We never see where it lands.
Yeah.
I kind of wanted to...
That's a good,
I thought it was going to land in the lake while they were talking about bombing the dam. It's just out there somewhere.
You can't blame a kid for wanting to get in that car and just start pushing buttons.
Oh, no. That's... Of course.
And I don't think there's a button... There's a few that, that Kit discourages him from trying, but unfortunately, I don't think there was ever a button in Kit with a big giant red button that said, don't touch or don't press.
No.
There should have been.
Yeah, he does discourage him from pressing the turbo boost.
Yeah.
He doesn't remember what it does, but he knows he shouldn't touch it.
He has some memories.
Yeah.
There's no self-destruct button that I know of on Kit.
I don't think so.
Oh.
And he does, when Michael is like screaming his name, he does say something like, I feel like someone is saying my name.
He's got the nagging feeling that somebody's trying to find him, but he just can't quite put it together.
Anyway, Doug ends up hiding Kit in their garage, and...
it's like finding a puppy or something. You bring it home, you hide it, you come out, and he comes out with a can of oil and offers Kit a oil. You thirsty?
Yeah, and the boyfriend's looking for the oil later.
Yeah.
You're not supposed to touch my oil.
Yeah. I guess it's, a reasonable idea.
Yeah.
Bring the car back and no harm done, right?
Yep.
Just keep the car in your garage.
Yeah.
It's a good thing that they had a garage.
It is, yeah. And nothing else was in there.
Yeah, that's convenient too.
Room for a car.
Seems to me like back in the, like today, I've often talked about this because, you know, you drive around and you see, or especially like in a townhouse development, I see all these townhouses that have garages that don't actually use them though, because they use their garage for storage.
Right.
So they use street parking, or else they have like 3 cars backed up in their, you know,
Yeah.
driveway because they can't use the garage, or they don't want to move cars.
Right. Like we had a garage growing up,
Yeah.
and we parked our cars in the garage until like my brother and I were driving. And then there were extra cars to, you know, we had to park in the driveway or on the street. But like our neighbors had a garage, and it was just filled with stuff.
Yeah, we pretty much used our garage for storage.
Yeah.
It was like like a storage room.
Right. And I didn't understand that, but they had a smaller house. And
Well, people start off with good intentions.
Yeah.
You know, I'm going to not accumulate stuff. I'm going to use my garage to store my car. And then,
Right.
Plus, if you have more than one car and you got people coming and going at different days, I guess the utility of the garage decreases.
yeah. And we had a bigger, to be fair to these people, they had like a single car garage, and we had a 2-car garage. And,
Well, which, that's
and it had enough room in it, like my dad built shelves in the back, and so there was some storage in there. And I think the washer and dryer were there for a while, and stuff. But
when you're saying, forgive me, when you're saying build shelves in the back, you don't mean in the Stanley Road?
no, I mean in a literal
Yeah,
sense.
actually, it's building
Sorry.
shelves. Okay.
Yeah.
Just to clarify.
Yeah, right.
Well, I don't know how much building shelves was going on between Jim and Doug's mom, but there were the garage. You think even Jim could use the garage when he came over?
Yeah.
Yeah. So the garage is not being used. So
It was like
that's
workout bench or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I still don't have as much a problem with that as I do with you know, Michael being told to forget looking for the car. So I'm cool with this. But anyways, so Michael and you know the team, they start putting together the information about who's behind all this. And
Yes.
it's really not as interesting as I would have liked, to be honest with you.
No, he does. I kind of like that scene where he shows up at the Conrad guy's hotel,
Yes. So
and the Conrad is like,
I guess he's,
Conrad's already like worried about the whole thing because the Bobby and Joyce tell him about Doug,
yeah.
and he's basically tells him to kill Doug.
Yeah.
He's a demolitions expert,
Yes.
and I think he doesn't want anything traced back to him. It is what he does. He blows stuff up. Anyway, he's at some hotel. He's got his girlfriend or wife, or she calls him honey, so I'm going to assume a prior relationship and not a one-night relationship.
Now. If she was not blonde, would you say the same thing?
Yeah, probably.
No.
Because I was just, you know, because he's from out of town and he's a crook, and
Right.
it's more that.
She comes off sort of like a Terry Copley-ish or Teresa Gansell type Judy Landers.
Yes,
maybe.
right, yeah.
That kind of blonde. I mean, maybe a little naive.
Right.
She's got kind of like the crimped, or you know, kind of like the '80s hair, and you know.
Yeah. So he's taking a shower, and then Michael shows up at the door and pretends to be his old buddy.
Yeah.
And she's like, "Oh,
Yeah.
hey, your friend's here."
But let's play a little game with him.
Yeah.
Because she thinks,
right.
She's like, where do I sign?
Yeah.
But she says it almost like a come on. You know, like, where do I sign?
Yeah.
It's like, well, sign? What do you want to sign?
Yeah.
Clearly, Michael Knight is focused on his mission throughout this whole episode. Despite
That's good.
These various potential temptations.
I feel like there were episodes where that wasn't the case.
Yeah. Because she thought he was delivering, what was it, like champagne or something? Or
room
alcohol?
service, yeah.
Yeah.
Or, something from the liquor store.
Yeah. One of those great liquor store delivery places. So, Michael says, let's have a little fun with him, you know, and tell him that we need his signature.
Right.
And she doesn't even really need to do that. She
No.
just says, you know, hey, come on out. And he comes out, you know, with a towel around him.
Yeah.
Instantly, is kind of suspicious.
Right.
Who is this guy? So, and it's a good scene, but nothing really much comes of it because Michael just basically tells him, well, he doesn't use his fingers in his eye gesture, but he says, I'm going to be people are watching you.
Yeah.
He says, yeah, we're on to you.
And then after Michael leaves, he's like, okay, we're switching hotels at least.
Yeah.
Something. Since the bomb is there the next day and operating, it seems like he did stick around.
Yeah, which is a little bizarre.
Yeah, like Michael's threat wasn't enough.
Yeah, there wasn't any like physicality. It was just kind of a keep an eye on you, and just kind of walks off.
He said, "Okay, I gotta get dressed. We're going to a new hotel."
Yeah. He probably wanted an excuse to leave that hotel anyway. He wanted one with like a pool and a jacuzzi or something.
Yeah.
So that's kind of, to me, that was the most distinctive part of the whole quest for the bad guys.
Oh, yeah, her name is Angel.
Angel.
Maybe
Well,
that maybe.
Yeah. Angel's a fine name.
Sure it is. Yeah.
For
It's all
any
about context.
Yes, true. So yeah, that's Conrad.
Yeah.
Bobby and Julius come back though.
Right. And also, at some point, Bonnie gave Michael a new memory card.
Yeah,
Put in Kit. The danger is there. He has to get under Kit, and if Kit doesn't remember who he is, there could be a problem.
And that's something they tease in the pre-credits when they're talking about coming up on the episode. They made it seem a whole lot more tense than it wound up. Because Kit's, why are you doing that? Tell him to get out of the way, and he's saying he can't be held responsible if Michael doesn't get out of the way. And Michael's just getting out, like he's going to do an oil change or something.
Yeah. And reminds him that he has some sort of protocol to not harm humans.
Yes, that's what Michael's confidence is. That is not his prime directive, but
right.
whatever it is,
Yeah.
is to not harm human life.
Right.
And I guess it works, but it's not like it's a complicated procedure. Michael pretty much zips under there and does it pretty quickly.
I couldn't even tell, I didn't see him it just seemed like he opened a box and turned a switch.
Yeah.
Which is not what he was supposed to.
Yeah, they built it up like it was going to be this tense moment, and it was disposed of pretty quickly.
Yeah.
I guess David Hasselhoff's just that good. He just got under there real quickly and knows his way under the car.
Yeah.
So he does not get rolled over and steamrolled by Kit, which is a good thing. But
yeah. But he and Doug, who gets in the passenger seat, that got ejected.
Well, maybe there's
interesting.
a regenerating passenger
right. Seat. Yeah. Of course.
That would be a good feature. It would be a useful feature.
Maybe it came with that memory upgrade.
Yeah, the extra seat.
Yeah.
The replacement seat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know, but they go. There's a chase or something.
Yeah. That's probably the best way to describe it.
I remember.
Just chase. Yeah.
I remember they turbo boost over them.
Yeah.
Which is pretty cool. And there was a second turbo boost when Doug was riding around in Kit earlier. He was being chased, and they almost went over a cliff.
Yeah.
And Kit remembered just in time that he should hit the turbo boost.
Right.
And they were able to leap this gully or whatever.
Yeah, like Eagle Knievel or something.
Yeah. And this, they just... I do wonder how they filmed that, because they're just riding behind a car and suddenly leap over it.
Yeah.
Without a ramp or anything. So.
Well, turbo boost is a special thing, and it plays a big part in this episode.
Yeah. And then, this is the part that stuck with me more. Kit or Michael turns them into a skid to block the way. And I, realize Kit has a special body armor or whatever. But Doug's door is the one facing the car that's about to T-bone them.
Yeah, that's...
What's up with that?
I don't know. I do not know.
That's a lot of confidence on the part of either Michael or Kit. I don't know who's in control of the driving then.
Yeah. Well, I guess...
it works.
I guess Kit can override his concerns about
yeah.
damaging human life if thinks he's got a capable operator at the helm.
Right. And because they don't end up T-boning, they do more of the sort of glance off and go flying over and land upside down kind of thing.
Yeah.
But there's still the bomb to worry about, too.
Yeah, and Doug was kidnapped, too. They did find him because they knew he was still out there, so they did kidnap Doug.
Right. Sorry, I forgot.
And grab him, and that kind of gets, Michael and... it intersects with everything else, so it gives Michael and Kit a chance to reunite with Kit's buddy, his new friend, Doug.
Yeah, I can't remember the sequence of things, because they stop the bomb. I think that's before the chase.
Yeah.
With Kit uses some microwave thing to just stop the timer.
Again, part of the... Well, I guess maybe that was part of the upgrade.
Maybe.
They got an extra seat, a bomb diffuser, and a CD player.
Yeah. Right.
With
actual
K.I.T.T.
Billy Ocean music on
Yeah.
it. No more substitute Billy Ocean.
No more Love on the Run, I thought you were going to say. But,
yeah.
well, maybe there's some Love on the Run, but
Right.
actually sung by Billy Ocean this time.
Yeah. And the memory upgrade thing is interesting too, because Kit gets his whole personality back immediately.
Yeah,
He doesn't remember his functions, but his whole relationship with Michael. So I assume that there must be some sort of constant backing up going on.
that would make sense,
Yeah.
yes. It was not explained or made explicit in the show,
No.
but it would have made sense.
Right. Or maybe not maybe when they go back to the foundation.
Yeah.
There's an occasional backup that goes on.
So it's the same Kit,
Yeah.
only better.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. They do say something about it being more memory or something.
When they charge him up every night, they also back up his memory, and he's back to his old self pretty quickly.
Yeah. But yet still remembers everything about Doug.
Yeah. Which is good.
Yeah.
Car amnesia, it affects cars different ways. Amnesia.
I know. Some car, right? You just you have the same car accident that you had that gave you the amnesia, and it goes away, right?
That should have been what they did.
All we need to do is electrocute you again.
That's the only way to get him back.
Right. And they never use the word amnesia, do they?
I don't remember
They
that
should
coming up
have.
at all. Yeah. I really wish that
Right.
when Michael was making his plea to go get him, I would have liked him to say, "Yo, this isn't the same one. He's got amnesia or something. He doesn't even recognize me."
Amnesia. Car amnesia.
Car amnesia. Worst kind of amnesia. Car amnesia.
Right.
Oh man. Well, they overcome it, and really, there's not a whole lot of violence in the show. I mean,
No.
getting back to that family hour kind of thing.
Yeah. That was cool when they finally stopped them after that car wreck thing. It seems like possibly they're referring to something that got cut or something, but Michael makes a point of allowing Doug to do a citizen's arrest.
Oh yeah, that's right. Doug captures Bobby and Julius, and he announces it too that he's making a citizen's arrest.
Right.
That's what makes it official, is when you declare you're making a citizen's arrest.
Yeah.
Yeah, you might be onto something there. There might have been something that didn't quite make it to the final cut.
Right.
That sort of.
Because Michael's like, "You're a citizen."
Yeah. Yeah, because kind of like a theme is helping this troubled kid out.
Yeah.
Troubled kid out, I should say, because at the end, he kind of smiles and says he's been thinking about going to school more often. Mm-hmm. He's clearly turning his life around. He's been bitter by what's going on in his life. He misses his dad, and he's been having problems at home, but things seem to be much improved by the end.
Yeah.
And Michael even gets a peck in the cheek.
Right, because she, the mom, Lori, gets rid of Jim. She also says she doesn't feel like it's the right time for her to have a boyfriend, basically.
Yeah, she's kind of giving up her social life for Jason Bateman.
Yeah. Haven't we all?
Yes.
One time or another.
Yes.
Sure, I could go out, but I'm going to watch the Hogan Family.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, exactly. What else do we about this particular episode? It's a fun episode. It's rather disposable.
Right.
Other than Jason Bateman, and it's not even peak Jason Bateman, I have to say.
No.
I would check out Jason Bateman on Silver Spoons, or It's Your Move, which we talked about before.
Yeah.
That's more peak Jason Bateman.
Right.
This is a little watered down Jason Bateman, I think. He's sort of like a half delinquent, but not really. He's sort of a little edgy, but not really. He's not quite the Weisenheimer that you would expect. It's still Jason Bateman.
It's still Jason. Yeah, it wasn't spectacular, but I don't know if any episode of Knight Rider would.
Well, I think the Evil Twin episode is more, a little more dynamic.
Yeah.
The show did seem to do quite a few two-part episodes, but it's a fun show, and maybe this is why Knight Riders has never gone away. If you think about it, it's a little, we're talking about justice, the divide between people who have everything and people who don't, because that was a big thing in the pilot was the Foundation. It's like I say, like sort of justice for everybody, not just the rich.
Oh, okay.
Because the original thing, there were like these kind of wealthy, evil industrialist interests,
Yeah.
as opposed to the more benevolent Wilton Knight.
Right.
These are themes that remain relevant, and self-driving cars, that's becoming more of a thing.
That
today.
is, yeah. K.I.T.T is soon not going to be science fiction.
No, but
Maybe self-driving cars with, sort of that level of artificial intelligence
yeah,
are ways off. But
maybe, I don't know.
certainly, I hope, Google isn't going to install Turbo Boost in every self-driving car.
No, and actually, this is a little bit of a cautionary tale, because if these Tesla cars or whatever, or
Yeah.
self-driving cars, if they are capable of getting amnesia, I don't think I've heard anything about car amnesia and all these articles about the self-driving cars.
In a way, you could argue that maybe K.I.T.T couldn't even get electrocuted. Because on the Transformers cartoon, they made it clear that the rubber tires insulate, people from the electrocution.
Yeah, you're grounded. And,
Yeah. So I don't know what, maybe he has special tires.
yeah. I like the fact that the Transformers cartoon is precedent for for Knight Rider as well.
Right. Yeah. I know. I don't. If I'm in a car, I don't worry about getting electrocuted because of the Transformers cartoon.
Right.
I'm sure, and that was in the story, not like in the moral at the end.
Right. It was pretty clear. To give the Knight Rider writers the benefit of the doubt.
Yeah.
Maybe in the writer's room, that Transformers episode, maybe they hadn't had a chance to see it yet, so it didn't come up. Because normally they would have been like, wait a minute, guys. As we know from that Transformers episode last year,
Right.
you cannot get electrocuted in a car.
Yeah.
I'd like to think that they would have remembered that, but
Yeah.
maybe they just hadn't seen that one yet. But clearly you have.
Yeah. What else is there to say about it?
Well, let me reiterate how cool the theme song is.
Mm-hmm.
The opening is nice.
Yeah. I mentioned to you off the podcast about the bumpers going to commercial have a nice
Oh,
cool,
yeah, that's
cool
a
thing. They
cool effect.
take the last shot and shrink it as Michael Knight's car, as K.I.T.T drives through the desert towards you.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was kind of cool. Different. And some of the theme music's playing. Shows don't always have bumpers.
That's true.
Talking cars
They
usually have bumpers.
They usually have bumpers, yeah.
Right, yeah.
But when they get dented, though,
Right.
it's car amnesia, baby.
Yeah.
Yeah, so Knight Rider, it's another one of those NBC 1980 shows that I remember, but
Yeah.
I can't think of too many specific episodes, and looking back on it, like I said, everybody seems to know Knight Rider. Oh, actually, here's something I can share. Through some of my friends in Argentina, I have learned, well, I'm not sure if this is official, but I know that Knight Rider has been seen internationally.
Uh-huh.
And I was told that the name of Knight Rider, see, you don't get the, Knight is noche in Spanish, so you don't get all the great puns that you do in the United States.
Right.
So the name Knight Rider, doesn't quite have the same cachet.
Yeah.
I was told that the name of the show in Argentina and perhaps in other Spanish countries was Fantastic Car, which I think is awesome.
Yeah.
I love that, and I hope that is the case, because it pretty much tells you what you need to do.
I'm going to see if we can find out what it's called in Germany.
The greatest show of all time is what it's called in Germany.
Here's something from the Hollywood Reporter from May of this year. Why former Baywatch star David Hasselhoff is big in Germany.
They still haven't answered this question.
Written by Norm Macdonald.
I like that they're still trying to figure this out 20 years later.
Maybe if I just look up the show, Wikipedia will help us somewhat. I'm honestly not sure what the nighttime is Nacht, but
Okay.
I don't know what night as in a night would be.
So that's the question: was Knight Rider the big show in Germany, or is it Baywatch that's
Right, or is it just the music?
Yeah, is it just his recording career? Yeah, it could be all of those things.
Yeah, they don't have anything about the international Knight Rider franchise.
Maybe each country had its own version of Knight Rider.
No, I think it's just those Team Knight Rider.
That we've talked.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. It could be very similar to the Spanish thing, though.
Yeah, just like fantastic car.
Yeah, I kind of hope this is correct. The word for knight is Ritter, like John Ritter.
Oh, nice.
And the word for writer appears to be writer. So the word Google Translate is giving me is Ritter writer.
Richard Writer.
Which I can't imagine is correct.
Yeah, Richard Writer.
If we have some Germans listening, maybe they can write us in.
Please do. And let us know
Yeah.
if Knight Rider was the show that really made you fall in love with David Hasselhoff, or Baywatch,
Or do Germans actually like David Hasselhoff?
Yeah, is that a myth? Is that overblown?
It could be.
I hope not.
I hope not, too.
They love him more than they do here, I would think.
I think so, yeah.
I mean, his recording career has not been the success his television career has been.
No.
I think that's fair to say. Much like K.I.T.T, David Hasselhoff, though, is multi-talented, can do many things. And, yeah, I enjoyed him in Knight Rider.
Yeah.
This is
I did
good.
too.
Do we have anything else to say about the socioeconomic implications of Knight Rider as a show? It's a 4-year run on NBC. They keep trying to bring it back, and maybe by the time somebody's listening to this, it may very well be back in some form.
Yeah.
Other than, like a pinball machine here and there. It just seems like the kind of property that would make a good pinball game. I don't know.
Yeah, I think so.
I'll bet there is one somewhere.
There was some merchandising, although it seemed it would just be limited by the nature of the show.
Yeah.
Basically, Kit and Michael.
Do you really need an Edward Mulhare action figure?
I don't think so.
Probably not.
No offense to Edward Mulhare and his estate, but...
Now, I could see, like, endless variations of Kit.
Yeah, and you could do, like, a car.
Yeah.
And Goliath, which is the truck that Gareth used.
Well, you know what? It's a good thing that they didn't get into that, because if they went down that road, then it would be like the old superhero cartoons or something, where you would see, like, all of a sudden Kit would be, like, there'd be a camouflage version of him.
Right,
So
yeah.
they could sell a camo Kit car.
Yes, and that submarine one we were talking
Yes,
about.
yeah.
So they could do that, yeah.
Yeah. They didn't quite go down that road, but...
No.
Well, that's Knight Rider. Lost Night, excuse me.
Yeah.
And I want to give another shout out to a friend of the show, Kevin.
Yeah.
Hope we did Knight Rider some amount of justice.
Hope we did too. Hope we didn't stomp on your memories too much.
Yeah, and if so, like I said, the show's out there, so anybody, we can revisit it, and maybe we'll dig deeper into Knight Rider,
Yeah.
Mike, and discuss continue this conversation off show as we
Right.
continue to explore the series. But
And I would say we might have an early contender for best performance by a non-human
oh yeah,
in Kit.
yeah, that would be Kit.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, especially the range he showed in this episode.
he did. He the sense of despair he showed at not having his bearings
Right.
was palpable. So
Yes.
yes, I'll give him that.
Yeah.
I thought you were making a comment about Jim, about Laurie's boyfriend, that he was some kind of non-human, the way he disrespected David Hasselhoff so many times in the episode. But,
No, I understand where Jim's coming from with that.
Yeah.
In that situation.
Yeah, Jim got kind of a raw deal, but was disposed of off camera in the episode.
Yeah. Yeah, he's in the garage now. He's under the garage now.
Yeah.
He's actually disposed of.
Yeah,
I mean,
look out.
Laurie's got a lot of access to digging tools,
Mm-hmm.
to lime.
Right. Wow. That took a turn for... I think we are in the shadowy world now,
Yes.
Mike.
And she might say she wants Michael and Kit to come back and visit, which was one of the, Kit wants to come back and say hi to Doug.
He does, yeah. He's going to...
Yeah.
Now that he's got his memory back, he'll remember, he says. But he just can't go in the garage.
Right. Yeah. Keeping stuff in the garage.
Yeah. He shows up, hey, I'll just park Kit in the garage. No. Why? There's nothing in there. No.
Right.
Just have him parked by the curb, please.
Maybe they had an episode planned about that. Like, Michael and Kit have to come help Doug after he gets bullied for saying his friend with the talking car is coming to visit.
Yeah. Go on. There's no such thing as a talking car.
Hey, before we finish here, did you know there was a Knight Rider Different Strokes crossover?
I do not remember that.
I just read that yesterday.
Knight Rider Different Strokes crossover.
Arnold and Dudley are at Universal Studios,
Okay.
and David
course.
Hasselhoff and Kit showed up.
Why in the world are Arnold and Dudley at Universal Studios?
They're going on the tour.
But
it's unclear whether...
Universal Studios Manhattan?
No, they're in L.A. Okay. You know, Different Strokes goes to L.A.
Okay.
It's unclear, like, if he's in character, but it says Kit. And the thing I read, because William Daniels didn't do the voice for Kit then.
Ooh.
Someone else did.
That's terrible.
Yeah. Maybe I should...
That's blasphemy.
He wasn't available. I don't know.
Ugh. And they shouldn't have done it if he wasn't available, or they shouldn't have had him talk.
Yeah.
They could have had some kind of gag about him having laryngitis or something. Or, you know, his carburetor is choked up or something. I don't know. They should not have had him talk.
Well...
I'm appalled.
And especially if Kit if David Hasselhoff is playing David Hasselhoff, then you don't need Kit to have a voice.
I don't know about that.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, you don't need him to have a voice, but if he's going to have a voice at all, I wonder if it was like a sound-alike William Daniels.
Yeah. In 1984, Hooray for Hollywood, a 2-part episode of Different Strokes. David Hasselhoff and Kit, not voiced by William. It doesn't tell us who.
Maybe it was William Devane.
Appeared when, sounds like they were in character.
I would enjoy that.
I would.
That would be the only acceptable substitute for William Daniels. Sorry.
They appeared when rescuing Arnold and Dudley from a near-onset incident while visiting Universal Studios Hollywood.
From a near-onset incident?
Yeah.
Universal Studios Hollywood, so...
I don't know, the shark almost ate them?
Yeah, I don't know.
Also, this seems blasphemous that, I guess it's something involving Ted 2, the Comic-Con thing, that Seth MacFarlane voiced Kit. I don't like that.
Neither do I. William Daniels is perfectly capable of handling these appearances. Yeah. So check out that crossover.
Yeah, I'm curious about that, too.
Or wait, was it a crossover or...
It's not a cross.
It was a guest appearance.
Guest appearance by Michael Knight and Kit.
Okay, well that's quite a combination. Gary Coleman and David Hasselhoff.
Yeah,
so it's got me intrigued now.
Mid-'80s star power there.
That's right, and Dudley. Don't forget Dudley.
I will never forget Dudley.
That's good advice for all of us. Yes.
Yeah. That's the rallying cry of some locations.
Never forget Dudley?
Yeah.
Some locations?
It doesn't seem like an entire state would think that, but
like
maybe beyond,
township?
maybe a county. I don't know.
A county
or a region. Well, a region would be bigger than a state.
A hamlet.
A hamlet, yeah.
A borough. No,
maybe like a tri-county area.
Yeah.
Yeah, borough could maybe in Manhattan.
Never forget Dudley.
Yeah.
When we launch our merchandise line, we'll have Never Forget Dudley T-shirts and bumper stickers.
Yeah.
That you can slap on your non-talking car.
Bingo.
This episode brought to you by the Foundation for Law and Government, solving problems and stopping crime with one cool guy and a talking car. This episode also brought to you by shirts to button at the shoulder. Yeah. This episode also brought to you by Bob's Plumbing. Oh, no, man, that was a different Bob's Plumbing that stole the explosives. We're the Bob's Plumbing that plums. Join us next time for another exciting episode of Battle of the Network Shows. Learn more, leave feedback, and suggest future episodes at battleofthenetworkshows.com. Follow us on Twitter at BatNetShows and like our Facebook page, facebook.com/battleofthenetworkshows.
Kit here was designed to do the impossible.
And I do.
But wait till you see this.
Rough Riders Impossible.
The Knight Rider Impossible set takes on impossible angles and hangs tough. With all this twist and turn and track, this car does things even Kit can't do.
Now, wait a minute.
There's also the Kit computer headquarters to charge up and move out. Hey, Kit, this set is really something.
Don't get carried away.
The Knight Rider Impossible set.
From LJN.
Burning Key Cars introduces the Knight Rider, your key to a new kind of speed. Knight Rider Burning Key Car. Now, a Burning Key Car captures the spirit of the Knight Rider. It's fast. Knight Rider Burning Key Car. With speed you can barely see. It's awesome. You control it with your key. It's fearsome. Unmerciful. Yeah.
He is the Knight Rider.
Knight Rider Burning Key Car. Your key to a new kind of speed.
The Knight Rider Power Cycle with Kit on a pretend instrument panel.
Here he comes.
You can pretend Kit is talking, leading you to the enemy.
Standing behind the fence. Let's get he's gonna pass us. Yeah. The spin out lane. We got us cold. One more tank. Go ahead, Turbo. We got him. You're no match for Knight Rider, right, Kit?
There's also the Knight Rider 2000 pedal car with a real voice for Kit.
Activate the turbo boost.
Wow, 19,000!
Copy, Kit. For short.
It's on!
What is our destination?
Push the license plate. Knight 2000 voice car says 6 different things. Sequence may vary, batteries not included. And it comes with a Michael Knight action figure.
Scanner indicates danger ahead.
Kit, save me! Hurry! This was Knight's lucky day.
The Knight 2000 voice car comes with a Michael Knight action figure from Kenner.